Sheila Murphy's son, Army Specialist Etienne Murphy, was killed during a vehicle rollover incident this past May in Syria, and they have yet to hear from the White House. Calvin and Sheila Murphy join us now. Mr. and Mrs. Murphy, we're so, Mrs. Murphy, we're so sorry that you're reliving all of this. Has this week been particularly hard for you?
Every day is hard. Every day it gets worse. It doesn't get better. It gets worse because I'm still looking for my child to come through the door.
Of course.
Every day.
Of course. We understand the grief that all of the Gold Star families are racked with. And so, Mr. Murphy, can you just tell us what happened on May 26th with your son, Etienne?
Well, the night before, we were having conversation with him. And he said he was all right, and don't worry, Mom. And then the next day, our daughter-in-law, his wife, asks us where we at home. I'm like, no, I'm at work. My wife's at the beauty salon, and she tells us to go home. And she's like, go home? Why we gotta go home? She said, go home, and she hung up. And I guess my wife made her tell her why she wanted us to go home, and we found out that our son had passed, so we went home, and sure enough, 5 minutes after we walked through that door, they knocked on the door and notified us that our son was gone.
We're looking at pictures of how handsome your son was, how vital he looks there with you guys. He was 22 years old. And so, do you understand what happened? Have you gotten enough information about what happened to your son?
No, we know what America knows. He was in an armored vehicle, and they had a rollover. We don't know why it rolled over. We don't know if there was another vehicle involved. We don't know anything like that. So they're still putting the investigation together. That's what they tell us, and so we're just waiting to see what information they come up with. But, you know, he's Special Forces, so we don't know what we'll really get.
Mrs. Murphy, did you hear from the White House? Have you heard from the White House at all?
No, I haven't, but it's okay. It doesn't matter if I hear from the White House or not, because it's not really about, like I said yesterday, a call or a letter. I just want people to remember my son, Specialist Etienne Murphy, and all the other Gold Star moms, Mrs. Johnson, all of those who are grieving. Trust me, none of us want to be in this position, and the worst thing I've ever been called is a Gold Star mom.
Yeah.
And I know that you, Mrs. Murphy, you wrote a letter to the White House, I think, or the president.
Did.
Yes.
What did you want the president to know about your son?
I just wanted him to not forget my son, and I actually thanked President Trump for, you know, ordering the airstrike in Syria, but it wasn't enough to save my child. I have no hard feelings towards anyone because it's not about me. It's about my child. And all the other countless fallen heroes and those who are still over there now, and then the families that are here grieving, like I am and my husband is. That's what it's all about. I don't want it to be about me or about a letter. I want it to be about my child and what he stood for and what they're fighting for over there right now as I speak.
Mrs. Murphy, I read that you said that you hate the sunrise.
I do.
You pray for the sunset.
That's correct.
And you hate every day when the sun rises because you're in so much pain. How can we help you?
Wow.
If you could just give me my son back. Right now, there's nothing that they can help me. I take it 1 second at a time. Sometimes I forget to breathe. I have to tell myself to breathe because the pain is undescribable. It's unget-throughable. That's my new word. It's unget-throughable.
Yeah,
this pain
is
unimaginable.
inaccurate.
I just told someone that we're permanent residents in the Twilight Zone because I'm still believing it's a dream. I'm still in shock, and I'm still looking for him to ring the doorbell.
Yeah.
So it's hard to move forward. I'm still at May 26th.
Yes.
We understand. I mean, the mind plays tricks on you. I think that we all can understand that it's so impossible to get your mind around this loss that your mind just refuses to accept it. And
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes, it does. I guess it's trying to protect us, but the body knows. You're just in constant pain, and we have our own plumbing company, and it's just hard to run it on the day-to-day basis with this on your mind. But I mean, I have no choice but to push through, and I feel bad sometimes doing that, like I'm putting my son on the back burner. But
yeah, that's the thing about grief, is that you almost feel guilty if you're any day that you're not devastated and grieving.
Right.
But of course, your son doesn't want you to be devastated and grieving. And so does it help to talk about him? Can you share with us some things that you want the American public to know about him?
I wrote a statement, if I could please read about my child.
Please do.
Okay. I said, as far as whether or not my family receives a call or letter from the president is not the issue. My concern is that my son, Specialist Etienne Murphy's contribution to this country not be overlooked or forgotten.
Lord.
His beautiful life came to an abrupt end when he chose to heed the calling of joining the Army. Etienne completed training. He was an infantryman in Fort Benning, Georgia. He decided to volunteer to become an Army Ranger. He was an Army Ranger at the 75th Ranger Regiment and was assigned to Bravo Company, 1st Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment, Hunter Army Airfield. He loved his country to the point of death. However, his family is now left behind to grapple with the excruciating fact that he's gone. He left behind a devastated mom, dad, wife, children, brothers, sister-in-laws, cousins. I just want everyone to know that Etienne's role in this fight against terrorism is the epitome of what this country should stand for.
That's right.
For liberty and justice for all. I will do everything in my power to see that my son will always be remembered by one of the few brave to lay down his life for a country that is so divided and in turmoil right now. It just breaks my heart. It's time for this nation to see the aftermath of those who don't make it home. We're the aftermath. Mrs. Johnson is the aftermath. So many Gold Star families, all Gold Star families, we are the aftermaths of our loved ones not making it home. It is an honor so great to know that my child and so many other countless others were willing to just sacrifice. Yes, they knew what they were getting into, but their love for their country and their love for the protection of their family and friends outweighed the risk. So I just want everyone to know that all of these soldiers out here are doing it for us. And we should thank them with the utmost gratitude and respect them as best as we can. As Etienne's mom, I am no longer in pain. I am pain. Today, the definition of pain is Sheila Bishop Murphy. I have to remind myself to breathe. I sit looking at the door, waiting for him to walk in. I beg God all day to give me my son back. So in closing, I just want everyone to know that daily I see the pain my husband, sons, and daughter-in-laws go to. It's interminable pain so great that it has reached the cores of their souls and has taken up residences. So please, America, just think about our soldiers and their families. And just say a prayer for us and continue to support them. Because we need support right now.
Well, we hear you. We hear you, Mrs. Murphy. We hear you, Mr. Murphy. You could not have communicated better the heartbreak that families like you experience after the loss of your son. And obviously, we do want to help you remember his legacy. We'll put up more pictures of Etienne, and just please let us know how we can help you. Okay. We understand how great your pain is and how great the pain is of the Johnson family today. We celebrate you guys, and we thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.
Mr. President, can you explain why you did not condemn those hate groups by name over the weekend?
They've been condemned. They have been condemned.
And why are we not having a press conference today? You said on Friday we'd have a press conference.
We had a press conference. We just had a press conference.
Can we ask you some more questions then,
It
sir?
doesn't bother me at all, but I like real news, not fake news. You're fake news. Thank you, everybody.
All due
Thank
respect.
you.
Mr. President, haven't you spread a lot of fake news yourself, sir?